As you rightly said, plenty of uncertainties and difficulties, but also some mega trends, more and more people traveling, very strong demand for air travel.
While Boeing's been caught up in a storm of delays and headlines, Airbus just quietly dropped a bombshell that could change everything. Industry insiders say they're working on something massive, literally. It's called the Airbus A390, and it might just be the plane that knocks the wind out of Boeing's sails. Based on the A380, but smarter, sleeker, and way more future-proof. So what makes this aircraft such a big deal? And could it actually reshape the future of aviation? Why Airbus is building the A390? You'd think Airbus would have sworn off building another giant aircraft after the A380 saga. I mean, that plane was a masterpiece, huge, iconic, and a dream for aviation geeks. But from a business standpoint, let's just say it was more of a museum piece than a market mover. It was too big, too expensive, and could only land at a tiny list of airports worldwide. About 144 to be exact. Airlines loved the capacity but hated the logistics. And while the A380 was still rolling off assembly lines, the world had already shifted to a different flight model. Instead of flying thousands of people to one massive airport and hoping they'd figure out the rest from there, the industry shifted to a point-to-point system. Smaller planes, direct routes, more flexibility. That's where Boeing pulled ahead with its nimble Dreamliners and upcoming 777X models. Meanwhile, Airbus was left leaning on its A350 like a lone defender in a crowded midfield. And that gap in their long-haul, wide-body lineup, it's been bothering them ever since. Enter the A390. This isn't just a do-over. It's a strategic reboot, a second chance to dominate long-haul aviation without falling into the same traps. But to make it work, Airbus had to check off a few critical boxes: clear market demand, environmental readiness, and financial viability. Let's unpack those one by one. First, the demand. Launching a new aircraft program is one of the riskiest moves in the industry. We're talking about $15 to $20 billion in development costs. And that's just to get off the ground. To break even, Airbus would need at least 400 firm orders. Sounds steep, right? But there's a twist. When Sir Tim Clark of Emirates, the guy who pretty much made the A380 a thing, approached Airbus asking for a new wide-body aircraft, he didn't flinch at the investment required. Even when Airbus said it would cost upwards of $20 billion, he reportedly gave a confident nod. Why? Because the need is real. With global air travel ramping back up post-pandemic and older wide-bodies like the A330 and Boeing 777 heading toward retirement in the 2030s, there's a golden opportunity to step in with something new, efficient, and future-proof. That leads us to the second reason: timing. The clock is ticking on many of the aircraft that once ruled international skies. Airlines will soon be faced with replacing aging fleets, and there aren't many choices on the table, especially ones that meet new environmental standards. This is where Airbus sees its moment. While Boeing is busy trying to get the delayed 777X program off the ground and scrambling to sort out certification issues with its 737 MAX 7 and 10, Airbus is quietly prepping a comeback, and they're doing it smarter this time. The A390 isn't a blind reboot of the A380, it's a more streamlined, single-deck wide-body designed for flexibility and fuel efficiency, with an expected passenger capacity of 400 to 450 depending on airline layout. And unlike its predecessor, it's being engineered to fit into most major airports without requiring expensive infrastructure upgrades. That's a game changer. But the real pressure isn't just from market demand or Boeing, it's from the planet. Environmental regulations are tightening, and any aircraft launching in the next decade will have to meet a whole new level of sustainability. This means lightweight composite materials, cutting-edge engines, and a design ready for sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, hybrid electric, or even hydrogen propulsion in the long term. That's where Airbus has a massive edge. They've been investing heavily in next-gen green aviation tech, and the A390 is expected to be the showcase platform for all of it. cleaner engines, lighter frames, smarter aerodynamics, everything aimed at meeting emissions goals and slashing fuel costs in the process. And with climate pressure mounting, governments and airlines are more likely than ever to back a new aircraft that aligns with net zero goals. All the signs are converging. The timing, the demand, the tech. Airbus seems to have learned from its past and is now perfectly positioned to reshape the wide-body game. The A390 isn't just about outdoing Boeing. It's about restoring Airbus's image as a risk-taker that's not afraid to innovate when others hesitate. And with Boeing tied up in certification delays, grounded aircraft, and ongoing scrutiny from regulators, Airbus just might have a rare opening to go full throttle. But what will this futuristic beast actually look like? And how will it beat the 707X, not just in range, but in every possible way? Let's open that cabin door and take a closer look. What will the A390 look like? Now that Airbus has made up its mind to build this game-changing aircraft, let's get to the part everyone's really curious about. What on earth will the A390 actually look like? Well, spoiler alert, it's not going to be a flying cruise ship like the A380, and thankfully, it's also not going to have 3 decks stacked like a wedding cake, despite what early rumors suggested. Some aviation forums went wild imagining a triple-decker sky palace with in-flight spas and tennis courts, but Airbus is staying grounded, literally and figuratively. This time, they're playing it smart. The A390 will be a single-deck wide-body aircraft, not flashy in size, but powerful in performance, and most importantly, airport-friendly. Remember, one of the biggest headaches with the A380 was that it could only operate in 144 airports worldwide. It was too wide, too heavy, and required airports to spend millions upgrading gates, taxiways, and boarding infrastructure. With the A390, Airbus is making sure airlines won't have to beg airports for special treatment. This aircraft will be able to land and take off from most major hubs without drama, exactly what global carriers are looking for. On the outside, Airbus is going all in on composite materials, those lightweight, ultra-strong compounds used in aircraft like the A350. This cuts down the aircraft's weight significantly, which leads to improved fuel efficiency, lower emissions, and reduced operating costs. 3 things airlines are obsessed with right now. Lighter planes burn less fuel, cost less to maintain, and fly farther. It's a triple win. And speaking of flying farther, the A390's range is expected to absolutely dominate the long-haul segment. We're talking up to 11,780 miles, or roughly 18,140 kilometers. That's more than enough for non-stop flights between cities like New York and Sydney, London and Auckland, or Los Angeles and Cape Town. For context, Boeing's 777-9 maxes out at around 8,383 miles, and even the upcoming 777-8 clocks in at 10,146 miles. The A390 is not just beating that, it's leaving it in the contrail. Capacity-wise, Airbus is reportedly aiming for 400 to 450 passengers, depending on airline configuration. That means it will likely come in just above the 707X, which tops out at around 426 seats. But the real flex isn't just how many people you can cram inside, it's how well you treat them. And that's where Airbus is making some bold moves. The cabin design will lean heavily on what made the A380 beloved by passengers. Think more space, more comfort, and more options. The A390 is expected to offer a variety of cabin layouts, from extra legroom economy to first-class suites with lie-flat beds, onboard lounges, and even private lavatories for premium passengers. They're going for a modern, minimalist interior, with a focus on clean lines, quiet cabins, and natural light. Larger windows will let in more sunshine, and advanced noise insulation will make crying babies and engine hum far less painful. Airbus is also bringing in next-generation air filtration systems to improve cabin pressure and humidity. That means passengers will feel more refreshed after long-haul flights, and a lot less like they've just emerged from a dehydrated nap in a pressurized soup can. Oh, and let's not forget about the lighting. Yes, lighting. Airbus is using smart LED systems that simulate daylight patterns across time zones. This helps your body sync to new destinations faster and fight off jet lag. It may sound gimmicky, but anyone who's ever stumbled out of an overnight flight looking like they've aged 5 years will appreciate it. Now, let's get to the part that has engineers drooling: the engines. Airbus is currently in active talks with Rolls-Royce to power the A390 with the long-awaited UltraFan engine. This isn't just another turbine slapped onto a wing. The UltraFan has been in development for over a decade and promises up to 25% better fuel efficiency compared to current-gen engines. That's huge. We're talking massive fuel savings, dramatically lower carbon emissions, and extended range, all rolled into one high-bypass turbo engine. If that sounds familiar, it's because Airbus and Rolls-Royce already made magic together with the Trent XWB on the A350. The UltraFan is designed to take everything that worked there and kick it up a notch or three. And as aviation leans into sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, and eventually hydrogen or hybrid electric propulsion, the A390 is being built from day one to support those transitions. It's a future-proof engine for a future-focused aircraft, and Airbus isn't stopping with hardware. In the cockpit, the A390 will be a technological marvel. Expect augmented reality, AR displays, AI-powered flight management systems, and a new level of real-time situational awareness. Pilots will get real-time overlays of terrain, weather, traffic, and system diagnostics, almost like a sci-fi video game, but, safer. The fly-by-wire system will be more advanced than anything Airbus has built before, making flying smoother, safer, and more fuel-efficient. But it's not just about the pilots. Passengers will also feel the digital upgrade. The A390 will come equipped with broadband satellite internet, allowing for everything from emails and Zoom calls to streaming Netflix or joining virtual meetings, all at 40,000 feet. Business travelers will love it. Casual travelers will never want to go back to seatback trivia games again. So in short, the A390 won't just look like a next-gen aircraft, it will feel like one. Inside and out, this plane is being built to redefine what long-haul flying can be. From sustainability and fuel savings to comfort and tech, Airbus is swinging big. But big dreams are only as strong as the strategy behind them. So how exactly does this aircraft fit into Airbus's long-term game plan? And what kind of dent will it make in Boeing's future? The meaning of the A390. By now, it's pretty clear the A390 isn't just a shiny new toy for Airbus to show off at airshows. This aircraft is a calculated move, a bold statement in the middle of one of the most uncertain moments in commercial aviation history. And to understand what the A390 truly means, we need to zoom out and look at the landscape it's landing in. Let's start with Boeing, because honestly, they've had a rough few years. The 737 MAX saga, which started with tragic crashes and led to worldwide groundings, shook global trust in the company. And even today, years later, Boeing is still crawling through certification delays for the 737 MAX 7 and 10. Add to that the fact that the 707X program is now more than 5 years behind schedule, and you've got a manufacturer struggling to keep up with its own promises, let alone the competition. That's where the A390 punches hardest. It's not just filling a product gap. It's kicking Boeing right where it hurts, their wide-body dominance. Remember, Airbus only had the A350 holding the fort in the long-haul arena. Now, they're bringing in a new flagship designed not only to compete with Boeing's 707X, but potentially leapfrog it in terms of range, efficiency, technology, and passenger appeal. And Airbus isn't just reacting to Boeing's delays, they're moving proactively. While Boeing is stuck juggling crisis after crisis, Airbus is assembling a next-generation aircraft that aligns with everything the modern airline industry is demanding. Lower emissions, reduced operating costs, future fuel readiness, digital connectivity, and cabin flexibility. It's a move that says, we're not playing catch-up, we're leading. Meanwhile, airlines, especially the big international players, are watching closely. Many of them were counting on Boeing's 777X to replace aging wide-body fleets. Emirates, for example, has had to extend the life of its existing aircraft because the 777 just isn't ready. That's expensive, it's frustrating. And for Airbus, it's an open window of opportunity. If they can deliver the A390 on schedule, with the promised specs, they could lock in some of the world's most powerful airline customers before Boeing even shows up to the party. But here's the thing, this isn't just about Boeing versus Airbus anymore. We're entering an era where the duopoly is being challenged from both the east and the north. In China, Comac is aggressively pushing its lineup of homegrown jets, with the C909, C929, and even a planned C939 aimed at replacing both Airbus and Boeing aircraft on Chinese soil. It's a national effort, with massive government backing and a rapidly growing domestic market that gives Comac a natural launchpad. Then there's Russia's United Aircraft Corporation, which is developing the MC-21, a narrow-body jet that rivals the A320neo and 737 MAX in both performance and innovation. It uses next-gen materials, advanced aerodynamics, and promises lower costs for carriers. While these aircraft might not dominate the Western market right away, they're gaining momentum in parts of Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, markets that are growing fast and hungry for alternatives. In this geopolitical chessboard, the A390 is more than just a new aircraft. It's a strategic shield. It protects Airbus's market share, fills a critical gap in its long-haul offering, and counters the rise of foreign competitors with a flagship jet that screams global leadership. But strategy only works if the economics do. And Airbus has calculated this down to the last bolt. The A390 promises superior fuel efficiency, simpler maintenance, and significantly lower operating expenses than legacy widebodies. That translates into real, measurable savings, money that airlines can reinvest into better services, new routes, or competitive pricing. It also means lower emissions, which helps carriers meet aggressive climate targets and win over eco-conscious travelers. And let's not forget the branding power. The A390, like the A380 before it, is designed to be remembered. From a visual standpoint, from an in-flight experience standpoint, it's the kind of plane people will talk about. Post a photo, choose an airline for, that's priceless. When passengers fall in love with the journey, they become loyal not just to the airline but to the aircraft itself. And Airbus knows how to build that kind of relationship. So what does the A390 really mean? It means Airbus is no longer just playing the game, they're setting the rules. It's a flag planted deep into the soil of future aviation. It's a response to Boeing's instability. It's insurance against rising Eastern competitors. It's a commitment to sustainable flight. And it's a bold attempt to bring back the magic of long-haul travel with technology, comfort, and efficiency built in from the ground up. And all of this leads us to the next big question. If Airbus pulls this off, what will it mean for passengers? How will it actually feel to fly on an A390? And could it finally deliver on the dream of a quieter, smoother, smarter sky? Inside the passenger experience, flying has come a long way from cramped seats, stale air, and a flickering in-flight map. With the A390, Airbus is promising not just a better aircraft, but a better experience from gate to gate. And if they deliver on what's being teased, this could be the new gold standard for long-haul comfort. Let's start with the cabin itself. Drawing inspiration from the A380, but refining every inch, the A390 will offer a more spacious layout for a twin-engine jet. Expect wider aisles, larger overhead bins, and configurable seating zones that allow airlines to mix premium suites with high-density economy, all while keeping things quiet and comfortable. Think business-class vibes at economy prices for some carriers. Lighting and air quality are also taking a big leap forward. The smart LED lighting will simulate sunrise and sunset to ease jet lag, while a next-gen air filtration system ensures cleaner air and more comfortable cabin pressure. This isn't just about health, it's about helping you land feeling like a human being instead of a raisin. The in-flight entertainment and connectivity will be top tier. Satellite broadband will allow everything from Zoom calls to 4K streaming at 40,000 feet. And if you thought AR was just for gaming, Airbus plans to integrate augmented reality cockpit displays for pilots, setting the tone for a whole new flying era. And under the hood, the Rolls-Royce UltraFan is set to power all of this with massive fuel savings and ultra-low emissions. It's the engine equivalent of switching from a gas guzzler to a Tesla with wings. Everything about the A390 is designed to make passengers want to fly again, not just out of necessity, but for the experience itself. The Airbus A390 isn't just another aircraft. It's a bold leap into the future, engineered to outlast, outfly, and outshine its rivals. If Airbus delivers on its vision, this jet could change the way we travel and leave Boeing scrambling to catch up. What do you think? Could the A390 redefine modern aviation, or is it just too ambitious to land? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the future of flight. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the skies.